Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hello to all financial management students. Welcome back once again to my session Zero to FM Hero. With this session, I will guide you about section B type questions. First of all, exam scope. The case study, examiner can examine either investment appraisal or working capital or business finance or business valuation or forex as well. Any 5 areas examiner can examine based on case study. That is whatever I'm saying here based on the observation. But another important point, the section of financial management function and environment also indulge with some MCQ OTQs of this case study. So core case study is about any 5 areas, but examiner can examine the 5 individual OTQs anywhere from the syllabus. So this is the first thing. Number 2, whenever you are going to start the section B type question, I strongly suggest you have to read the case very carefully and first identify which area of syllabus related to this case study. Number 1. And number 2, when you are attempting the 5 OTQs, to apply the same rule I have discussed with my previous video. That's about section A type questions. Read the context, read carefully each OTQ, number 1. Number 2, identify the main concept, then keywords, then phrase. And if you have any confusion, then educated guess. Apply the educated guess. All the principle I have discussed earlier. So let's start now. Let's start the question. Question, Tamunic company, a large manufacturing company. Tamunic company imports raw material from a foreign country and sells its product in home country only. To pay its raw material, the company generates suitable debt finance in the foreign country. And the home country currency is dollars. While the foreign country currency is euro. So apparently the first para reflect that this is what about the question about foreign exchange risk management. Yes. But also here also the hint about some debt finance as well. Okay. Next para. The FRA forward rate agreement has been used on borrowings. So the situation has changed here. The first line is something about interest rate risk management, FRA. So you have to read it very carefully. First para, something about forex, that's raw material import and all things. First para also includes something about debt finance. Second para start with something borrowings. Once again, forward rate agreement has been used on borrowings for a recent raw material purchase of the 10 million euro. Before the purchase 3-6 4-3.6 FRA was acquired in the foreign country. 3-6 of FRA, that means borrowing after 3 months. Here are the things about borrowings. Borrowings after 3 months for the duration of 3 months. Number 2, 4-3.6. 4 is the rate of interest, 3.6 is the rate of interest. Very basic rule. Higher rate, it's borrowing rate, lower rate is the lending rate. Okay. The actual base rate The actual base rate applicable to borrowing 10 million euro, 3.2%. Do remember, here home country currency is dollar and foreign currency is euro. Okay. Separately, Tamunic company will receive a volume discount 1.5 million euro in 3 months time. Volume discount 1.5 million euro. That is something expected to receive and expected to receive based on volume discount. That is also the volume discount is a method of something about receivables. So the main point is that simple, expected to receive 1.5 billion foreign currency. Okay. And to protect against depreciation in dollars, finance director. So protect against local currency, depreciation in local currency. Here means here the local currency is dollar and 1.5 million euro foreign currency expected to receive. So there's a risk of depreciation of local currency, that is dollar. Finance director has decided to make a money market hedging for this amount. So you need to read carefully. You will have enough time to plan your answer accordingly. The relevant information is as follows: the spot rate. No complication here about the spot rate because only one rate. No need to uh, refer any direct or indirect code. Just take out this code, this rate, 1.16 euro per dollar. But you need to determine for simplification. It's divide or multiply. That's important. Then interest rate. That's all the thing about money market hedging. The details about the money market hedging here. Borrowing rate, deposit rate. That's dollar. It's a local currency. Euro is the foreign currency. Foreign, local. Borrowing rate, deposit rate. You must have to apply the money market hedging in a very smart way. You have to practice it in a manner to become a master. It's very simple. Huh? So this is what about the case. If you have any doubts, you must have to read it once again. The case includes something foreign currency risk management, that is something about money market hedging, also about interest. So this is a typical case of risk management which includes interest rate risk management and foreign exchange rate risk management as well. Okay. Now, based on this scenario, this is the question. This is the question. Question number 1. Read it carefully. Finance director is analyzing the yield curve in the foreign countries market. Don't be confused. Yield curve in local market or international market. The concept remains same. Normal yield curve, upward, increasing trend interest rate. The finance director analyzing yield curve in the foreign countries market to select a suitable financing strategy. So here the finance director analyzing the situation in the foreign country. There is some increase, analyzing the, finance director is analyzing the yield curve to select the suitable financing strategy. Suitable financing, the first para. Suitable debt finance. Okay. He observed that yield curve recently changed from normal yield to become inverted yield curve. That's the key point. The yield curve recently changed from normal yield curve to become inverted yield curve. That's the key point. Here the situation of the yield curve, that is not normal, that's inverse, that is something decreasing trend. That's very simple to recall the basic knowledge. Normal yield curve is upward trading, that's interest rate expected to high, but un but unprecedented, but it's abnormal situation. The yield curve here decreasing trend. Interest is expected to decrease in future. So, which of the following, which two of the following are true in this situation? Relax and be committed to apply the rules. Number one, which concept? The concept of yield curve. Number two, keywords. Inverted yield curve. The keyword inverted yield curve. Number three, the phrase here asked by examiner. Which two of the following are true in this situation? Third one. Okay, now you need to first ask yourself, have you read the question carefully? Identify the concept. Number two, keywords. Number three, the phrase. That's what you should do. You need to identify true and true statements one by one. First, read it carefully. First time, read it carefully. Bonds with long-term maturity term will have higher return. B. Temunic company is exposed to rising interest rate in foreign country. C. The change would have been beneficial for Temunic company if it had issued long-term variable debt, long-term variable borrowings, long-term variable debts before the inversion. Before the inverse, lock something variable rate. Raising euro bonds financing in the foreign countries currency has become more attractive. These 4 points. Before selecting the answer, first of all, ask yourself, have, have you already revised? Have you already recalled the basic knowledge of yield curve? The basic knowledge of yield curve here mentioned. Normal yield curve is upward sloping and the yield is higher on instrument with the long-term maturities. Okay. But here the case, decreasing yield curve, inverted yield curve. So number one, assuming that you are confused here, but you have read the requirement very carefully and identify concept yield curve, keywords abnormal yield curve declining, identify two situations related to inward yield curve. And the company here, the context, the company here, it's about to get borrowing in international market, to get the borrowing in international market. So one by one. If you are confused, first of all, based on this context, if you really wanted to make a gas work, if I am assuming that gas work, first of all, considering the context of borrowing, inverse yield curve, first of all, you need to eliminate which you feel obviously wrong. Let's start. A. What do you say that? Bonds with a long-term maturity will have higher return. In this scenario, bonds with long-term maturity with higher return. Is this statement it's about true? The point is that If this is not true, because if you wanted to get higher returns for to get the investment higher returns. By the way, this case is not about the returns; it's about the borrowings. Huh? If you wanted to get higher returns, so you need to invest in a way where the yield curve is increasing trend. For decreasing trend, this statement is not true. So I must say this statement is not true. Number two, Tamunic company is exposed rising interest rate in foreign country. How if in the if finance director says that he is analyzing the yield curve where the interest rate in declining inverted yield curve. So is this the risk about interest rate increase? No. How it's possible to increase? So A or B statement is absolutely wrong. Rest of the statement C and D, you have to take it. You have to select it. But we have to discuss C and D points as well. Yes, one by one. Why C is right? The change would have beneficial for Tamunic. For Tamunic. Why for Tamunic? If it had issued long term, issued means issue the loan, um, that is borrower. Issue the loan notes, that is the borrower. If Tamunic become a borrower at variable rate before inversion, variable rate means LIBOR plus spread. So variable means interest will pay according to the market. So this statement is true because expected the yield curve is decreasing, and if the market interest, if we issue the bond now for example for 5 years, next 5 years, so after some time if interest yield curve decreases or interest become decreases, the company will have to pay the borrowing cost with a lower amount, lower interest. That's the C part. That's why it's true. Number two, raising Eurobond financing. Raising Eurobond financing means issue the bonds, Eurobonds in international market. In foreign currency has become more attractive. Has become more attractive. Has become more attractive. Yes, of course, any bonds if you issue in the foreign currency, it's more attractive because normally the euro bonds interest are the variable terms based on the markets. That's the point. So you need to refer the knowledge of the euro bonds, very basic. It's particularly mentioned. Now, we need to read it. The answer is C and D. Yes, C and D. But the point is that what's the justification? Number one, examiner comment. A normal yield curve is upward sloping. So that yield, that's interest rate higher on instrument with long-term maturities. That's why A it's not able to select. Inverted yield curve, downward sloping. So yield is lower in instrument with the long-term maturities. Okay. Inverted yield, interest rate expected to fall in future, which made it more attractive to borrow. For example, issuing Eurobonds. In these circumstances, long-term borrowing, variable rate, and the Eurobonds is recommended. So that is the way to select the answer. If you are confident that you simply select C and D. Actually, I've discussed this question in a manner someone confused the worst situation. Now, the question number two. Now, the question number two. Now, the question number two. Read the question carefully. Which of the following best explain for basis risk? Number one, concept. That's about basis risk. Number two, The keyword best explanation, best explanation, best explanation. Number three, what examiner ask here? Any one of the statement. Which of the following statement? The very important point, you need to recall your basis risk, the knowledge about basis risk. What is the meaning of basis risk? The most important thing, basis risk is actually, this is the description mentioned, basis risk happens when the tool used to protect the risk, like tool use means hedging instrument like future contract, does not perfectly match the actual risk, like actual borrowing when the risk about the interest become higher. This mismatch can cause unexpected losses. In simple words, basis risk is about effectiveness of hedging strategy, not the market risk. Very simple example. For example, I wanted to hedge $102,000, which I expected to pay after 2 months. I will go to the future market. I will go to the future market. Future market contracts are available for $25,000 for each contract. So I will buy 4 contracts. I will buy future contract to protect the risk. 4 contracts. So 4 contracts multiplied by 25 is equal to 100. 4 contracts multiplied by 25,000 is equal to 100. But actually I wanted to protect 102. It's not possible to, it's not possible for me to change the market. Instead, I have to adjust the things accordingly. So here I called, actually I wanted to get protection of 102,000, but due to the reason of the contract size, I only able to protect 100,000. Protection of 100,000. So this mismatch actual required $102,000, but future contracts available with the totality of $100,000. So this 2,000 mismatch creates hedge inefficiency. This is called basis risk. Basis risk is not about the market. Basis risk, it's all about the things will not move as production because hedge is ineffective. Do remember, all the with all the marketable instruments like futures contract and option marketable contracts, tradable contracts, it may possible to having basis risk, it may possible to having ineffectiveness of the hedging. But this is not the case with the and forward and over the counter contracts, over the counter forward contract, over the counter option contracts. Because if we, for example, with respect to the forward contract, I go to the, I approach to the bank and asked to the bank, I wanted to protect $102,000. Give me the contract of forward contract 102,000. Bank will accept my query for 102,000. No inefficiency. Basis risk, it's all about market. So it's very clear. Now we have to read it one by one. Which of the following best explain about the basis risk? Number one, interest rate change before bonds are issued. Interest rate changes before bonds are issued. This is not about basis risk. This is about market risk. This is something about interest rate risk. I'm sorry, it's not a market risk, it's an interest rate risk. Interest rate change once the bonds were issued, that's the interest rate risk. That's not the basis risk. Foreign currency become more expensive to buy, that is foreign exchange risk. More funds will be needed. More fund needing to be raised due to increase in raw material cost. No forex, no interest. There is a risk that raw material price increase in the market, so we need more funds. This is what called business risk. The price become inflated. So not A, not B, not C. So remaining is D. We need to check it. Why D? The funds needed at maturity, that we actually want to borrow, we actually wanted to pay foreign currency, not entirely hedged. Like my example, I wanted to hedge 102, but due to the future contracts or the interest futures or the forex futures, only able to protect 100. So this gap is called basis risk. Funds needed 102, but not entirely hedged due to market conditions. This gap is about the basis risk. The correct answer is D. That is a fund needed to maturity not being entirely hedged. Here, examiner mentioned the other options are not best fit. Why? Number one, interest rate changing before bonds are issued. This is interest rate risk, not the basis risk. Foreign currency become more expensive to buy. This is about foreign exchange risk. More funds needing to raise due to increase in raw material cost. This is business risk, not the basis risk. So this is the another example that we have done. Number three. Don't refer the solution. With number three, which read the question and apply apply three things. The number one, concept. Number two, keywords. Number three, the verb used here or the phrase used here. It's a calculation. Phrase is very simple. Which of the following is correct transfer in relation to the FRA? Number one, FRA, main concept. Keywords. Keywords is correct transfer. Correct transfer doesn't mean how much we need to pay effectively through FRA. Correct transfer means with respect to FRA, if we enter with a contract of the FRA and if it's become some loss, so how much we need to compensate to the bank. For example, here now the spot now the spot is 8. It's an example, not about this question. And I have a risk that interest rate will increase. I have made a contract of FRA that's 10%. So what does that mean? That I have locked the 10%. If interest rate increase by 10%, bank will compensate me. But what if interest rate become decrease? So I wanted to compensate here. That is called correct transfer. For example, in future, the spot become 6%. So you have to correct transfer 4%. That's a loss. If interest rate become 11%, then it's not about the transfer from our side to the bank. It's a transfer from bank to us. So here we need to identify the correct transfer. So read it carefully. Very important here. Number one by one. Students, one by one. the first thing with respect to the borrowing. Number one, the case is about borrowing. So borrowing FRA rate is higher side. That's 4%. That is about 4%. Number one. Number two, this is for 3 months. Number three, $10 million. So originally locked with 4%. But the actual base, here mentioned actual base rate applicable on borrowing was 3.2%. It's about 3.2%. So borrowing rate you locked, the company locked with 4%, but it's become decrease. So that's, we need to transfer to the bank. That's a loss on the FRA. So we have to calculate 4 minus 3.2%. For example, that is 0.8%. Multiply by 10 million euro and into 3/12. Why 3/12? Because the borrowing duration after 3 months for 3 months. That's called 3-6. And this is the answer here. 3-6, 3 months borrowings, 4% minus 3.2%. That's we need to compensate. 10 million multiplied by 3/12. You need to calculate by your calculator. That's the answer is A. 20 million euro. 20 million euro. So this is the way you have to work out accordingly. Yeah? That's a good question. That's a very good question. Move on. Question number, that's correct answer is A. First need to read the examiner justification. What examiner says here? Temunic is borrowing euros, higher rate 4%, number one. For the FRA. Borrowing with always with higher. 3-6 start 3 months time and 6 months time. So duration 3 months period. Since the company borrowed amount lower interest rate, actual rate has become reduced 3.2%. The company need to pay compensation under FRA. Corresponding foreign interest rate difference, that's $20,000. That's we have already done. Okay, question number 4. Question number 4. Very straight. How much will Temunic company expect to receive 1.5 million volume discount? Expect to receive 1.5 million volume discount. Whenever you read independently the question number 4, you are not able to get what they are saying. But if you connect the things with the case, connect the point with the case, connect the point with the case. Here, very categorically mentioned, Temunic will receive volume discount. Volume discount means some amount expected to receive, and they have made arrangement internationally some volume discount and expected to receive 1.5 billion euro, like a debtors. 3 months time to protect against the appreciation of dollars. Finance director decided to set up a money market hedge. So connect the thing with this case. That's why read the question very carefully. Number 1, money market hedging. That's money market hedging. Money market hedging. That's have written money market hedging. Huh? Amount expected to receive. Money market hedging, number 1 concept. Keywords, it's a case of receive. About 1.5 million euro. Euro is foreign currency. And your local currency is dollars. Don't confuse with volume discount. It's simple like a debtors. So very simple. Your answer must be in dollars. So very quickly apply money market. These are the steps. Recall your knowledge. Step one, foreign currency liability. If the point is about foreign currency receive, so foreign currency receivable or volume discount, that is receivable expected to receive, that is your asset now. So the concept of money market is about the matching. If you are a receivable of foreign currency asset, you have to create a foreign currency liability. Foreign currency liability, foreign currency liability. So use the rate properly. Foreign currency liability. So foreign currency is euro, liability is 6. So you need to proportion 6, 3 over 12. That is 1.5%. So foreign currency borrowing and local currency deposits 2%. And you apply the point. If you apply the point about the 2% and proportionate into 3 over 12. So that is something about 0.67%. So one side foreign currency liability, other side local currency asset. And the rate of the conversion is very simple. Euro 1.16 per dollar. So here the amount given in euro and here the rate euro per dollar. Simple rule, simplification, divide. It's not about direct and indirect code. It's simple here, simple to divide. Or if you wanted to identify the direct and indirect code, you can apply here. Your local currency is denominated, that's why it's indirect code. For indirect code, you need to divide. Yes, come on. Very simple. Step 1, foreign currency liability. You have to develop a liability with in a manner that's the amount you will borrow now. That's after 3 months, it's become 1.5 million euro. So apply the concept of present value. So 1.5 million euro, the present value of 1.5%. 1.5%, that is the proportionate as I have done earlier. That's you have to borrow now euro 1.477833 million. And then once you collect the money as a borrower, you have to invest with the local currency. Invest in the local currency. So convert in the local currency, that's simple. Conversion, divide euro 1477833 divided by 1.16 euro per dollar. So that means you will receive immediately $1,273,994 and deposit to the local currency account. You will receive 2% over 3 over 12. So interest you will receive 6370, and the total amount you are expected to receive, that is 1280634. So the correct answer is D. The correct answer is D, 1280364. Whenever you are attempting the section B or section A type question, it's not possible to you to refer the spreadsheet, no? But if any of the time you face some question with a spreadsheet, any of the reason, so you can apply the shortcut. This is the shortcut. You will be able to get direct answer. It's a very rare case, exceptionally, but you just mention is equal to 1.5 million multiplied by 1.015 power minus 1 over 1.16 multiplied by the rate of the particular discounted here. Very simple. It's a shortcut rule. So in F9 case, it's very rare to apply the shortcut, but maybe it's relevant for you. multiply by, it's 1.5 million multiply by 1.015 power -1, that power -1, that is about the present value, then divided by 1.16, that's conversion, and then multiply by 1.005, that is about including local currency interest rate. So all three steps at one go. But you people, whenever you face the section A and B type question, it's not possible to refer the spreadsheet. You can work out directly with the calculator accordingly. Don't worry about that. But make sure your answer become correct. If you use shortcut on the calculator as well, you can apply with the calculator as well. Don't worry. But cross check, it's very important. Okay, so answer is D. Be cautious. Examiner comment. Correctly identify interest rates with the you need to practice the money market as much as possible to get easy marks. So you must have to become master about the money market. Identify the rates for the foreign currency receipt matter. It's very simple. That's take out the borrowing rate of the foreign currency and deposit rate of the local currency. Identify the interest rates. Prorate the annual interest rates. Don't make mistake. Prorate 3/12. Very simple. Foreign currency, the case of lending or receives, borrowing rate, foreign currency, and lending rate for local currency. Very simple. And vice versa. Vice versa means in case of the foreign currency borrowings, lending rate for foreign currency and borrowing rate for local currency. Very simple. Foreign currency conversion, don't mistake with simple math. Sorry, here the spelling mistake. Here for conversion, simply divide. Okay. Okay, that's all about question 4. Now question number 5. Please read it carefully. Question number 5. Question number 5. Question number 5. The finance director believes that in current market conditions of the foreign country, using an interest rate option could bring additional financial benefit. Which two of the following are true about the over-the-counter interest rate option? Very important. First of all, what you need to consider, concept is about interest rate option. Interest rate option. And for interest rate option, the keywords is about over the counter, OTC. And the phrase here, which two of the following are true? So relax. Interest rate option, that's financial derivatives, over the counter, and identify 2 correct statements out of 4. First of all, you need to recall the over the counter interest rate option contract over the counter. Over the counter contracts, all the over the counter contracts, either option, either FRA, that is not tradable, and these are over the counter contracts. Over the counter tailor-made contracts, not tradable. The first thing. And option as compared to FRA and futures, as per its name, having no obligations. If it's contract holder has a right, if it's favorable for contract holder, it's become exercisable. If not, then the option become lapse. It's a basic concept. So very basic. Assuming that you are confusing here, and apply the rule for educated guess. So let's apply one by one. Out of 4, first need to identify which is obviously wrong with respect to option. But do remember, you before applying the educated guess, first of all, read the question very carefully and recall the basic concepts. Read the question very carefully, and if required, connect with the case, not necessarily with this question. So read the question very carefully. That means this is option. Number 2, over the counter. It's concept option, keywords over the counter. Number 3, which 2 are true. You need to identify 2 true statements. Number 1. Number 2, recall your studies about the options and then apply the educated guess. First, eliminate which you feel obviously wrong. A, it can be traded. It can be traded on a financial exchange. Over the counter contract traded on financial exchange, it's not possible. It's not possible because it's not traded. B, it is an agreement with a financial institution. Financial institutions means banks. Yes, it's right. It's not the wrong. It's required payment of an initial premium. Yes. It must be exercised at maturity. Must be exercised. No compulsion. That's why we paid the premium. That's why the option holder paid the premium. So A and D is obviously wrong. Remaining, of course, the remaining 2, it's about the educated guess. By the way, the question is very simple. So number 1, it is an agreement with the financial instrument. Absolutely right. Requires payment of an initial premium. Yes. So what is the correct answer? B and C. Examiner comments over the counter options is agreed with the financial institutions for a non-refundable premium which is payable in advance. The option is only exercised if it's favorable. OTC cannot be traded on a financial exchange. So students, that's all about this question. And once again, with this session and my last session, the second one, I have discussed a most recent question with you and try my level best so you people apply these rules. So definitely you will be able to conquer the exam and become FM hero. So these are the exam techniques. Time management. Ideally, read the question carefully. First, the concept. Number 2, keywords. Then phrase being tested. If you have any doubt, apply the intelligent guess work. It's out of the tolerance, out of the question. That's you. If you're thinking to leave any question, review your answers, double check your calculations. To practice with these advices, as you practice, you become able to recognize the psychology of the examiner, recognize the distractors, and able to make educated guesses. That's all over about this series of session. That's March June 24 exam question. I know that March June 24 one another question that is about the investment appraisal you have to attempt by yourself. Further, I strongly suggest after this session you will be able to get this document, that is the session of 0 to FM Hero, a roadmap. But with this roadmap, you will not be able to get the access of these material, but my previous sessions material as well. Previous 3 more sessions material where I made practice for section C type question and section A and B type question as well. So first of all, you have to subscribe my YouTube channel. Number one, subscribe my YouTube channel and follow the Facebook. These are the draft material, all the draft material available with this G drive, and I strongly suggest you have to join this WhatsApp group. Number one. Number two, these are the modules. Just click and enjoy the videos. These modules, it's not only about the session of 0 to FM Hero. Follow the document. You will be able to get more videos. Previously, I conducted some boot camp sessions of financial management where I have made practice questions, as I've told you before, about section A, section B, and section C. That question, you just click the link and enjoy the videos. Sir, where we will be able to get this document? Subscribe my YouTube channel. Whenever you watching this video, just refer the description section where I have mentioned all the details. Just click the link, you will be able to identify this document and then follow this document. Okay, thank you very much. Take care a lot. May Allah willing, you will pass your exam. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum.